65. So 80 to 90, something to that effect, but I had to break it up because I want to go through Senate too. But you want me to start again? I just don't understand. I can figure out the year. Okay, sorry. Okay, then call this meeting to order of March 13th, and if everybody will stand, we'll have the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag
to the republic for which it stands, nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Greg. Sadler.
Yep.
Yeller. Modig. Here. Grinsman.
Here.
Glenn Jennings.
I
Hill. Yes. You have a form. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Motion that agenda be approved.
And a second? Second. Any revisions to the agenda? Any objections to approving the agenda as per presented? And if not, the agenda is approved. We do not have a scheduled public comment. January 9th meeting.
I have a question about that,
Okay.
the minutes. Under motion, Commissioner Sadler moved to appoint Rachel Craig as chair. And then the secret ballot took place, and then Rachel Craig was elected as vice chair.
Right, that should be, if you're correct.
I was like.
So it should be,
Chair.
chair position.
Says her. Yes.
Okay, so can we have a motion to approve actions to the
How many states?
minutes?
Make a motion to approve the change.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. No. Okay, new business discussion of the 2025 work plan. You want to make a comment on that, Kathy?
So we have the first one, identify opportunities for intergenerational programs for seniors and youth at college. 2, review emergency plan for the Kenai Senior Center and put forth recommendation to City Council. Number 3. Number 3, identify programs and activities that contribute to the increasing health and wellness of the senior population.
Recommend to approve the commission work plan.
To approve the work.
I think,
Any more discussion on what we just finished doing? If not, can we have a motion?
that's already.
Okay, all in favor? Any negatives?
The motion passes.
Okay. Report of the senior director.
March for Meals coming up 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Right.
Is it 2 weeks? Yes. 2 weeks from tomorrow. It's exciting. We got a lot of people involved and a lot of fun. We're getting great donations in and things. So,
That's great.
and that's all I have.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, looking back in time, was, well, maybe it's in like January. Some suggestion that we had done something wrong with our agenda. I asked the chairman, and he said, well, normal would be all right, and then after we just left. Blew it off until we had our training session, and the clerk went to say that we had done something wrong. I still don't know what that is. Could that be explained?
Procedural?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
It is as she explained in the training. I should raise my hand.
Okay.
As she explained in the training, that the city follows Robert's Rules of Order.
Right.
And it is in Robert's Rules of Order, when there is a discussion recommendation to come up, you put it on the floor, voted to put it on the floor, and then discussion happens about it, and then it's voted on. And that order was not recognized. And so she came to at the next meeting. And
Okay, I thought it was the verbiage, the topic, how it was presented. The verbiage of the.
she didn't have an issue with it. The former chair had an issue with that.
Okay.
But she did not. That wasn't, she was coming just to talk about procedure.
And so then that was, from the discussion of the training commission, I still didn't get that explanation from her, is that we did something wrong. Someone sneezed at the table, but I did not fully get educated on that.
So it is my understanding that the clerk, actually, it's Megan Thibodeau, who for every commission that writes up a script, so things are followed accordingly. And that was, we were having some issues with that, not with Megan's script, but just a disagreement on how its rules of orders were to be followed. And so that is my understanding, is that's why the
So
city
it was
clerk is
procedural,
there.
not topical.
I believe so.
Okay.
It's, the clerk did not have an issue with topical. It was the procedure.
Okay, I got it. Never mind.
I can clarify that if you'd like. me to.
Okay, I thought it was the hybrid between topical and procedural
Okay,
in the agenda. And I understood that the agenda was changed for our meeting. In other words, it was presented, okay, and then when it was rolled out to us, it was, the words were different.
that could be,
That goes back to the sidebar discussion before the agenda was finalized, or did someone put their thumb on the scale and actually change our agenda?
question. I will find out that
Yeah,
answer.
because it's our agenda, our meeting. And if something is improper, then it should be addressed at the time through Robert's Rules of Order and refine the verbiage. Or if it's something that's not accepted by the council, they can say, well, we don't accept this, and for whatever reasons, okay, they'll kick it back to us and we don't refine our approach. Seemed like the communication was abrupt,
Okay,
my thoughts.
I can get further clarification if you'd like that.
Okay, let's go ahead and tackle it. He just gave me a straight arm and ran out the doors.
Report. Thank everybody that gave input to the goals and everybody that wrote for each of their goals, so that was really good, and we've got, I think. Thank everybody that's working hard on the March for meals. And if you have a budget ticket, make sure you get your ticket. Your council.
So it's getting late, so I'll consolidate my hour-long presentation. Wonderful. Packets, you do have our last couple of weeks, but before I talk about those, more importantly, today is a full moon, and on top of that, we're gonna have a lunar eclipse. It'll be in totality at about 10:20. If you can actually see it. It doesn't happen that often, so I'll be out looking for it, so.
Yeah.
That's real, and I like that kind of stuff. The other stuff is,
I'll be out looking forward to that.
yeah, so anyway, hopefully it'll be clearish enough to be able to see that.
What time is it? The eclipse?
It takes several hours for the moon to go behind the earth, but at 10:20 is when it's at, 10:20 is when it's total, but I go out maybe an hour before and then, so you're not forgetting about it.
Okay, right over there, right. In that direction at 10:20, the moon is usually right behind you.
Good. You know where to look, and that will be easy to see too. Well, see, that is more important. That touches all of us. On February 19th, I'm just gonna go through some of these and not all, if there's something we want to come back to, just what's going on. There's nothing that has to do with senior center specifically, but we did have a presentation from Walton about Project Homeless Connect 2025. And lots of information and data and all that, which I do not have here. But we have a very large homeless population in the area, and most of them are those that you can't see. And and something that was part of the statistic that did surprise me as far as what they were getting through, 54% of those who were homeless were female. And I would usually, recognize that there's female homeless, but I've just skewed my thinking that the people sleep in. You have a total number? I do not. That was back in February 19th, which he was presenting wasn't exactly what we had in front of us here, but no, I don't. Pardon? Yeah. We got a grant and we purchased ballistic vests for the policemen. Those vests, they work pretty much all the time, last about 5 years, and they cost about $4,500. So we get 3 or 4 of them out of this grant that our police chief was able to get. So we also are going to be releasing 2 lots at the airport to Everett's Fuel Service. You see them fly by here, usually pretty low. But anyway, they want to build a hangar, a fuel spot and all that on the north end of the airport on the ramp up there. So who's that? Everett's Fuel Service. You see them north of the terminal building over the C-46s and DC-4s and entries. And that is their plan to start working on that here pretty soon. So some things may be happening at the airport. Let's see. And for Mr. Glendenning here, we because he likes the information on the sewer treatment plant and for all of it, actually that matter. But we're going through modernizing that sewer treatment plant, something nobody thinks about because it goes down, you get water coming in. But we standardize the digester blowers, the aerates, and all of that kind of stuff. And it's a specific thing. Normally we go out to bid and you get whatever you get that's lowest, but we want them to be standardized. And it turns out they are cheaper, but it's what we want. But supported really just the standardization on that. So, and for council on, so I'm thinking about it, Mr. Glendenning's done it, but I think others could if they want. There's going to be a tour down at the sewer treatment plant in the afternoon of the 28th of this month. I think at 2 o'clock. And if you're interested in that, if you contacted Lee Fry, he's the one that kind of set it up. You could do that, or perhaps the city manager's office to Dr. Christine, and she will coordinate it. I'm sure a few council members are gonna come but they'll have some more space available for anybody that wants to go through what's going on down there.
Yeah.
Appreciate Jim's making notes because I think it's at 2 o'clock.
I'll do that.
Yeah, I can look up here. So that gets us to March 5th, our last meeting. The library received about almost $14,000 in private grants, private donations. 10,000 came from an individual. I don't know who that person is, and I think they've done it before. $10,000, the rest were from Friends of the Library and some other folks that just wanted to donate some. $13,850, something like that. Like books, and other things they're doing. Another thing that we accepted was you go to the airport from terminal. I think they've been there a long time, but that polar bear and brown bear, those are on display, owned by Warren Johnson, who's since ceased. But the state donated back to the city. So we now own
That's good.
and the top dollar amount, but it was pretty significant, like $30,000 for those displays. It's quite a bit, but they enjoyed them. I think even there. Let's see. We also purchased a tractor. It's a tractor with all these attachments from the golf course. Golf course is under its management ownership over there, and this is an unusual purchase. We actually changed code. It's going to help us for the future, but the golf course came forward and said, "Hey, we got this tractor." Am I going getting too deep?
No.
Not at
Anyway,
all.
we got this tractor and we'll sell it to you for $13,000, something like that. Well, with attachments, it's over $35,000 and it hasn't hardly been used. So, the city manager negotiated it, came back to council and we said yes. Now, we had to go through a ordinance to do this, so it's a 2-step process. It happened at the same meeting as we changed code, where if something like this happens, the city manager can negotiate good faith. It still comes back to the council as a resolution, and we approve it or not. And so that it's just kind of instant, and we move on. This equipment, you'll probably see it around here mowing and doing other things. Yes, ma'am.
Who's taken over ownership? Management of the software.
We actually bought it. It is Dr. Kim, Mike Navarre, and Bill Coghill and his wife. Bill Coghill and his wife were at this meeting when we accepted this. They may have some other folks, but those are the main ones. They're golfers and all that. And I think the golf course hasn't been seeing the care. I'm not a golfer, but that they wanted, and they kind of did something that they love, and so they're doing that. They're looking at replacing some bridges and doing other stuff, and the kind of folks that if they're going to run something like that, they're going to do it really excited about it. Is that what?
Yeah.
That's stuff we like to hear. I don't golf, but I buy a house by a golf course just to watch.
A lot of people do that.
Just because it's nifty, it's like a garden.
Well, it is, in the wintertime, it's a ski, but there's a lot of really nice houses down there just because the golf course is there. Golf course, pilots do and all that. I'm almost done. Yeah, well, if you have, Tina Watershed Forum came and talked to people. We need a monitoring plan with them, except the memorandum. What they do is they sample all the way up and down the river from Soldotna all the way down here for metals and all of that, and see what the health of the river is, and that benefits the city or it can. it's good information to have.
Yeah.
So. Money to them too, which is a whole separate thing, and a lab is available. And the last thing I have is, we did purchase some new, I think 3 new, police cruisers. And, so we've got them coming, or they're here, but that's only part of it, then you have to put all the stuff in them, so, let's see. We used a fleet, replacement fund for, said equipment to uplift the 3 police vehicles, so. Those are all the radios, all the stuff that goes in there, and which is unique. So they'll be fully equipped. Doing the thing. So that's pretty much all I have.
Any questions? Jim?
Yeah, I was glad to see also there was a note here that you're gonna- so we have tournaments down here.
Yeah, the dugouts for the softball field are going to be improved, and maybe other portions of the field. I'm not certain about that. But I think that's out to bid, and the Kenai Community Foundation. It's a 501(c)(3) here that actually I'm part of it, but we received funds from an individual that works for Hillpark. It's kind of one of those where they put in money and so does Hillpark, and we received that, and so some of that money, some of what you saw in there is going directly into the city account, so it could be utilized for building that.
Did you not, you also approved purchase of the 2 vans for the senior center?
Did, but was that this?
Must have been the previous one.
Yeah, because we talked, remember I mentioned you buy it from the Ford place and you said, yeah.
That was last meeting, but if I missed it,
I don't
could
see
have.
it in there.
well, I think
It must have
we
been.
talked about that.
At the last one,
Kendall.
2 new 15 passengers
Oh, yes, yeah.
with a tall roof.
Yeah.
So we gotta go traveling this summer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one more documentaries down, just want to compliment the public works and the budget piece. See all of the improvements that are going to do to our roads. All the things with that, of course, probably what drove it is there's some water and sewer issues that need to be fixed, and if you're tearing it up, you might as well fix the road too. It seemed like a comprehensive plan and something we all use the roads, and we're glad for the attention. It spruces up the town a little bit too.
Since you mentioned that, Jim, and, you know, it was the mayor and the city manager went to Juneau and did whatever they do down. But anyway, they were looking for money for Wildwood Drive that goes to the prison.
Yeah.
It's a city road that we maintain that almost nobody here in the city uses unless you're going to the prison. You know, I mean, 95% of the traffic is, but the road itself is probably not in that bad a shape, but the asphalt is, it's way past it. But anyway, the estimate to rebuild that is pretty high. We think that the state needs to help kick in quite a share for that. So suggested we just not maintain it, let the state do it then, you know.
Yeah.
But that's it's just, you know. But at any rate, so hopefully there'll be some funds, but not a whole lot's coming out of Juneau. Happens with, so there's some right of way issues in there too. We'll have to get over.
Any other questions? Bill?
Any word on the bluff?
Oh, I was wondering about that earlier.
Well, nothing new other than the contractor, if I have a date right, plans to start work on the 16th of May. So just plug it in, you know, in the middle of May, you know, I know that they have to work around when the belugas might be in and that kind of stuff, or something like that, but that is the date. All the rock has been, for some time, been made. And it's out at Sand Point on the Shumagon Islands, sitting out there waiting to be shipped here. You know, but these guys, that's what they do, is they ship, you know, so they had it made. It's just, and it's rock that has been tested, they know. And so it's a 4-day trip. there'll be barges out here. You'll see them at some
Will the
point.
vast majority of that be done this year?
Yes, because I think that the completion date is in February of next year, if I'm not mistaken. Or, you know, they think that they're gonna be, so it'll be happening down there, so
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how all that rock for a while. Because it's not all, just a lot of it's big, really big stuff, and then there's, you know, type of marbles, and then I think there's some gravel behind it, so there's what you gotta do.
Suck out a lot of that mud first before they put that down. I don't know.
That part I'm not real clear on. I would think that they'd have to level it a little bit to get it in there rather than being on a slope, but I'm not clear on that portion. Because you're right, you know, that ankle down there, but.
We watch.
Getting down, third floor.
Third floor.
We just, and I know we've run really late, but we had a tenant meeting this week with our residents at Vintage Point. And that was one of the questions that came up was, some of them will have a great view from the third floor, but they wondered about safety on the bluff is if the city was. I said I would think it was a contractor who was doing that they would want to fence off. So people, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of interest in that, but I don't know if that's been talked about or anything, but that was a question that people brought up about the safety of the bluff and they're concerned about people falling over it.
I don't know, but that's interesting. I mean, when I have family come here, you know, where I take them is right over here. And I start looking at the bluff, and I have a fear of edges.
Yeah.
You know, it's great for a moment and I got, you know, but people are doing it constantly, could be. And to be clear, is not a city project.
Right.
You know, it's a Corps of Engineers project. We had a lot to do with getting money and all of this and reviewing the plans and all that, but the Corps bid it out. It's their contractor, they're managing it. And we're kind of along for the ride as far as that goes. But what the city can do is, you know, that was an issue out here and you're seeing, matter of fact, if you're seeing something, we could probably purchase and erect something that'll, you know.
They do.
Yeah.
Any other question for councilman? Our next meeting is scheduled for April 10th. Is there anybody that will not be here? Jason, you want to move it to May?
So I don't have anything for the agenda in April. I would like to bring the budget to you, but that needs to go to council first. So I'm assuming we're not meeting with council before April 10th.
Probably the first weekend in May. When we have
Yes.
that, whole Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, so.
So it would be, I'd probably bring the budget to you in the first meeting in May rather than in April. So other than that, I don't have an agenda, anything that's pressing for an April meeting. We can still have a meeting if you'd like to, and if you have something you'd like to discuss, if not, we can also go for no meeting in April.
Wishes of the commission? Just if you don't have an agenda, we can. Anybody gonna be absent in May?
Okay. It would be May 8th.
We still have an open, you know, we can rent somebody, just drag someone out of the building. You don't like my idea, do you?
I like it. I'd like to adjourn our meeting.